Hey guys, just a quick update on what happened on Valentine's Day. Thanks to the Valentine's Day gift from DPM. Yes, it's indeed something very expensive for some people. So maybe they purposely planned this to really give us quite a gift, and then maybe some people are caught. They know that some people are caught in the middle of the day, so they won't do much. And then that's why probably that's the right time to attack, right? I mean, that's the whole point of all these small little cooling measures. Although probably these are not really like a real cooling measure, but it's still something that will help to, um, I would say more of a warning shot lah, compared to a real cooling measure. So some of the a things that we had to know based on what they announced lah. First of all, you have more support for BTO applicants. You have more support in terms of ballot charge, blah blah blah. So this one is quite self-explanatory lah. CPF grant increased by $30,000 for the smaller ones. 5 room and above, they increased by just 10,000. And then you realize that the grant overall has increased by almost up to 30,000 for those people who are eligible for the full thing. And this is probably to address the fact that HDB prices has really increased a lot. Some people, or rather I would say quite a lot of people, their income level hasn't been able to keep up, and hence there's that gap is widening, and government knows that, and but at the same time they want to let those who are genuinely in need of real housing, especially those young family, they really need that space, but they cannot afford, and this is why they realize they need to patch the gap. This is not to help to spur the HDB market, but actually to help people who really need it lah. So in a way, maybe yes, some of the 4 room may run a little bit, but what to me is really a reflection of that. HDB to the market, to the government you see it's actually getting more expensive really. But and now they what they do is just help those people who are really in need lah, and I foresee probably more and more coming in. So this one singles is just basically the same things, but whatever increment is just half. And then this one will be the one that we will be looking more into in terms of I would say in the interest in terms of the private property market. And then anything below 1.5 are generally not affected. They are pretty much untouched in terms of buyer stamp duty. And some people may say that yes, it's not too much money, so it's not really a concern. I personally feel that if you are buying for something that is like 1.5 and above, 5,000 is gonna make you complain, but it's not definitely gonna affect your decision on whether you're gonna buy or not to buy. So it's more of something that really sense, or to me is more of a warning shot rather than an actual shot at trying to kill the market. Even then, for those that are higher quantum, the buyer stamp duty has really increased a lot. Later we will take a look. This is just an example. For $2 million condo, it will be a $5,000 increment in buyer stamp duty, which is still, if you're talking about 2 million kind of budget, then $5,000 honestly it's not a very big sum lah. So it's very unlikely to stop people from even making a move at all. Okay, then this one is just commercial. It's the same thing, increase in buyer stamp duty. So this one is something that you may want to take note, especially if you're looking at the private market. So I did some calculations, and then for 1.5 million onwards to 2 mil, let's say we are looking at 2 mil, it will be increment of $5,000, and compared to the previous buyer stamp duty, it was a difference of about 7%. 2.5 million, $10,000 difference of 11.8. For 3 mil, 15,000, 14.3. Like I mentioned, it's still money. So for those of you who are waiting at the sidelines, waiting for things to cool down because of whatever cooling measures, you need to realize again and again that there are reasons why the market will cool in terms of a cooling, in terms of the impact of a cooling measure. Why? Because usually it makes it more painful or more unreachable for some people to buy, and that's why the market will cool. And as such, it usually involves you paying more in terms of buyer stamp duty in this time, or previously it was ABSD or you get lesser loan, and which in a way deters people from even making that move. So for those people who are looking at 4 mil, they will be really start to feel the pinch already, because $35,000, it's an increment of 24%. Here is not too much of a pinch, $5,000. Yes, if you are buying a $4 million condo, $35,000 may not kill your deal, but it's still enough to make you hurt. 35,000. Can you think about how much you can talk about? Maybe a Jap car depreciation for like 3 years, 2 years plus 3 years is still quite some money. So if we look at this was back when riverfront residences, people were chonging in because of the ABSD announcement, increment, and then people were trying to rush and coming overnight. And similarly, this happened. There was suddenly a mad rush. I remember that night, suddenly you get all these notice that all these units were moving very, very fast. And so I screenshot this on the really just I think 12 plus AM on the 15th, and then you realize that you see these other units that people on the last minute kanchong buyer, they know they've been sitting on the sidelines, don't know, waiting for discount, waiting for this and that, and then they wait until they are something really happened, then they start to rush in. And thankfully for them, they managed to rush in and save that few $1,000s, and maybe some of them maybe tens of thousands of dollars. But unfortunately, few who are probably celebrating, who was actually celebrating Valentine's Day and missed it, and maybe their phone went flat, or they just couldn't, or just totally ignore their phone because they're too busy with their dates, and then realize after 12 o'clock they look, sell liao. How I was about to buy, then now suddenly because of the Valentine's Day, I'm to get distracted and I have to pay like 10,000 plus dollars. So remember, like what I mentioned just now, usually cooling measures, they have an impact. So there's a reason why if the price ever moves down like this, there must be a very strong reason why, which in this case is usually, like what I mentioned, is either a loan lesser or the ABSD more, or any other taxes becomes more, which deters people from buying. And unless you have a big fat pocket to really counter all this, if not, then if you are those that are betting on the line, you more or less then make it, anything more is gonna hurt you really badly, then you are not in a position, I would say, to really choose. Okay, and then one more thing that I need to share is that recently I get quite some inquiries asking me, hey, TT, how do you feel about buying $1.2 million HDB, $1.4 million HDB? So to me is, I have to ask you, what's your objective? If you're just buying because of the space, because of the location, or you want a 5 room with a nice view, ultra high floor, because you really, really like the location, then by all means go and buy it lah. But don't buy it thinking that it's going to be something that is going to help you how to say, fight against inflation, or maybe even go for capital appreciation, because right from the start, I think government has really made it very clear that HDB is not for us to do speculation. HDB is not for us to really manage as like an investment. You're not going to hoard very big time unless you're going to go for BTO, and even not all BTOs are going to hoard as much as certain BTOs. And to get this kind of jackpot BTOs, you have to be really, really lucky to be able to get one of those that they are very, very so-called coveted estates, and that will likely make you more money. And you only have basically one chances or two chances. In the second chance, you want to go down, you have to pay resale levy, so which is quite a little bit of work and luck involved lah. So for this one, you can see this one was back in May 20. Sold for record 1.4 million, a 5 room flat at Henderson. And then this caused such a big hoo-ha. Everyone, is all over the newspaper. It's just a $1.4 million house. Although in terms of private estate, private market side, you look at 1.4, it's like, you can't even buy probably some of the newer two-beders right now. But here for 5 room Henderson, people are making so much noise about it, because HDB was meant as a public product. It's to serve the greater good of the public, and then now people are rushing in or trying to beat out the price like some kind of the next big thing. And then this one also something that is more recent. 1.5 asking price, wow, getting out of hand, everyone complaining here and there. So this caused quite a big hoo-ha, and you realize that it is a little bit more difficult for people to be looking at using HDB, especially those you are already paying record price, and you still want to buy as a so-called investment. I think you will likely be very disappointed because I personally experienced it myself back when I wasn't really in the line, and then of course, thankfully, because of that experience, I got very, very into data. And well, sometimes bad experiences shape you to become who you are today lah. But you see, this one is trying to hit a new record high, and everyone is complaining about it. This was like all over. I remember when this came out, people were sharing like it's nobody's business. But on the other hand, if you have a condominium unit, right, that is going for record price, maybe example, usually transacted at $2+ million and suddenly got transacted at $3+ million. Most of the time, it's not going to go up to newspaper unless you are talking about this guy or people, this kind of headlines like this, or richest man hits this kind, yes, correct, then maybe you will hit this kind of headlines. But if you're talking about 2+ million went up to 3+ million, then usually it doesn't hit that kind of headline. So because after all, it's called private market for a reason, and then I'm not going to be talking too much about that because we don't want to move into politics. This is not my realm. Okay, I also don't want to stir certain reactions that are not needed in this channel because of something that happened a few months ago, which is very ridiculous to me. So I'm not here to be fighting about politics. And then this same thing again, 30th of Jan, government already mentioned that the public housing is they are committed to making it affordable. Okay, whatever you see, because anytime that it has become out of hand, what happens is that the opposition will start to make noise. The opposition will use it against the government, blah blah blah, and then they will have to handle lah, and this is gonna make their job very tough, and that's why to them is that they need to keep the public flat, the prices really in check, and that will in a way cap your potential. If you're trying to use HDB as an investment tool, then it's not something that is going to be very, very, very beneficial to you because it's not meant to be like that in the first place. Whereas private is a different thing. So anyway, back to the main highlight of the budget measures, budget announcement, which was the buyer's stamp duty. So like I said earlier, this is more to me as a warning shot rather than trying to kill people. Of course, there are people who actually get killed. Maybe their funds just made it, but then because of what happened, they are suddenly short of funds, and then they are the guys that end up gonna hit. Especially those of us who are in a middle income class, then you realize that the one that gets hit the most usually are the middle income. The high income family are usually not hit as much because they can and they can afford. To them is they buy something they like, they don't need to make the money, they can easily afford the 5,000, 10,000, $35,000. To them is nothing. So it really depends. And these are the kind, in a way, to me, maybe, well, it's a form of wealth tax. They can afford it, they can pay it. It's extra tax for the government, so why not, right? So, and then the other thing is that why you realize that they suddenly send this warning shot. Previously, some of the measures were launched, I think Piccadilly. Before that, after that, you realize that they threw in the ABSD trust thing, which was, I feel, is meant to target those people that were trying to hit record highs here and there. And this time, don't you find that it's a little bit of a coincidence that whatever what is coming up over this weekend is the launch of Terra Hill, and it seems to me that they are trying to do the same thing again. They're trying to launch a warning shot that, hey guys, you better not sell too high, if not something is gonna happen again. Like what I mentioned, this is not too much of a not too much of a pain for those people who can afford it. But this thing is likely going to affect the sentiment. Why? And also because a lot of people, they buy a new launch, you think that it's going to be something that's going to be profitable, sure profitable, because based on the bunch of the previous batch of new launches, which are like 2018, 2019, and then they launch at a certain price and they sell at this price, they make this kind of much profit margin, and therefore all new launches can be like this. If you think that way, then I will say that very, 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 very likely that you will be very disappointed, because you're trying to compare apple to oranges. Previously, those guys, they a lot of the time, when they enter, they were entering at the COVID period, where some of the developers were selling at break-even prices or maybe even below break-even prices. That's why some of them, maybe yes, they calculated wrongly, and then they didn't manage to make much profits. And the reason that some of these buyers are able to make ridiculous profits because that developers weren't making that profit. But on the other hand, if it's like what we are expecting right now, where it's a seller's market. Previously, during the COVID period, it was obviously a buyer's market, and now this is a seller's market. You have to be very, very, very careful what are you exactly entering into. Especially some of the new launches that are coming up, they are launching at 20 plus, 30 plus percent. Previously, when we were looking at the same batch, we were looking at the previous batch of new launch, 20%, people were complaining like mad. And now suddenly people are rushing in. Oh, this is all the hype. Wow, this is going to be the new next best thing. Wow, yes, it's expensive. Then it's like, wow, very good value. People are looking at it like, it's the best thing since sliced bread. But the profit margin is like 20 to 30% on average. And then previously, during COVID period, some of the developments, they were selling at 5 to 10% profit margin, and then it's easily more than 200%. So the one that is happy is not going to be you. It's going to be a developer. The ones that is going to be laughing to the bank is not going to be you. And if you enter at the wrong price, then you are likely going to be the one that you will be stuck for a while until the really, really, maybe the next few batches of new launches becomes way more ridiculous. Then you stand a chance. So with this whole bunch of upcoming new launches, so make sure you do a due diligence, make sure you are getting into a development in the first place. And in the first place, why are you getting in? You must be very, very clear, and how much are you getting into, and what is your exit strategy. If you do not have an exit strategy, it is fine, because nobody knows for sure. Important thing is you need to find someone who's able to monitor the market for you. And because anyone can promise you anything, 3 years later sell, but do you know that actually 3 years later is actually not the best time to sell? But there are a lot of agents out there who say that, September is the best time to let go. And if you look at the chart, you realize that this is not really the case. So why are people rushing in to let go? And then what is the reason why? Is there a better opportunity? If so, then please by all means. But if not, if you do not know how to spot the next opportunity, then why are you rushing to let go? Because it doesn't make sense if you know how to monitor the market. And if you do not know how to monitor the market, please seek professional help. Make sure that you get somebody who's qualified, somebody who knows their stuff. You monitor. I think that is something important, because you can get into the right development at the right price, but you exit at the wrong time. So within a span of maybe 2-3 months, you're going to be making a difference of maybe $100,000 lesser. Are you going to be happy about that? Especially those of us who are earning maybe less than 5 figures a month. Then maybe these 5 figure a month, for example, maybe somebody who's earning about $6,000, 100,000 is like 20 months. 20 months of working. Do you want to put your potential profit at a risk just because you don't take the effort to find somebody who's qualified to help you exit? You can easily go to somebody to go and buy something, but are you actually having the right relationship to help you exit at the right time? I think that's something that a lot of people always neglect. So make sure you know right from the start what are you getting into, and how are you going to get out eventually, and how are you going to make sure that you are eventually going to exit at the right time. So make sure you think it through everything very clearly, especially with the upcoming new launches, like what I mentioned, there are a lot of them. A lot of them are, hyping up like it's the best thing since sliced bread. So there are so many of them. And so make sure you do a due diligence. Good luck, guys, and then we'll see what happens over this coming weekend. Oh wow, it's Thursday already. So we'll see you soon. Okay, bye bye.